From heartbreak to glory, God's epic. Comeback to claim the Wuhan Open. Wuhan, China. The city light shimmered across. The Yangtze River like 1,000 flickering stars. But inside the packed Wuhan Open arena, the atmosphere was electric, tense, expectant, trembling, with history in the making. At center court stood Coco Gauff, 21 years old, her braids swaying as she bounced the ball. Before a final serve, sweat glistened on her brow, her breath steady but heavy. Across the net, the formidable Arinus. Sabalenka, her rival, her wall, her test. It had been 3 years since Coco's last heartbreak here. A first-round loss that shattered her confidence. A defeat that forced her to question everything she was becoming. But tonight was different. Tonight, she was no longer the teenage prodigy. She was a woman who had learned to fall, break, rebuild, and rise again. The crowd roared. She looked skyward and whispered, "This is for every time I thought I couldn't." And then the serve, powerful, pure, unstoppable. Moments later, the stadium erupted. Coco Gauff, champion of the 2025 Wuhan Open. But this wasn't just a victory. It was redemption. Years in the making, the ghost of Wuhan. 3 years earlier, the scene had been painfully different. Wuhan 2022, a 19-year-old. Coco Gauff had arrived with high hopes after a breakout season, but her body was tired, her confidence shaken by back-to-back losses. She faced an unseeded qualifier and fell in straight sets. When the final ball zipped past her, she stood frozen in the crowd, clapping politely, her eyes wide with disbelief. She walked off court with her towel over her head, tears hidden but burning. That night in her hotel room, she wrote in her journal, "I feel like I'm losing myself. I don't even recognize a girl on court anymore." The loss wasn't just about tennis. It was about identity, about carrying the weight of expectations as a face of a new generation. The next arena, the American hope. She wanted to win, but even more, she wanted to breathe. The long road back after that heartbreak. Coco disappeared from the spotlight for a while. She trained quietly in Florida, away from cameras, away from noise. Her coach, Brad Gilbert, often found her sitting alone on the empty court at dusk. "You okay, kid?" he'd ask. "I just need to figure out why I'm doing this," she'd say. And she did. Slowly she rebuilt her serve, sharpened her footwork, learned patience. She spent hours studying, not just her opponents, but herself, her mental triggers, her emotions, her resilience. Off court, she volunteered at youth clinics, talked to young players about pressure and purpose. Losing doesn't define you, she'd tell them. Quitting does. Her fire was returning, not fueled by fame, but by love for the game again. A new chapter begins. By 2024, the world began to see the rebirth of Coco Gauff. She won in Paris. Then, dominated in North America, each victory was cleaner, each interview calmer. Analysts called her evolution the golf. Glow up, the transformation from prodigy to powerhouse. But Coco didn't care for the labels. "I'm just trying to enjoy being me," she'd say, smiling. Yet deep inside, one memory still haunted her. That loss in Wuhan. She'd see replays of it occasionally on YouTube. Her old self, crumbling under pressure. And every time, she'd whisper, "I'll rewrite that story someday." Return to the scene. October 2025 Wuhan Open. The same tournament. The same arena, but this time Coco walked in with confidence. The defending U.S. Open champion and ranked world number 2. Still, The pressure was immense. Reporters crowded around her during media day. Coco, you lost here before. Does it feel different this time? She smiled calmly. Every place that broke me is also a place that built me. So, yeah, it feels different. The early rounds. Test of composure. Her first match was against rising Chinese star Wang Xinggu. The crowd was loud, patriotic, but Coco's focus never wavered. Her movements were fluid, a dance of precision. She took the first set 6 of 2, then battled through a tight second to win 7-5. After the match, she told reporters the crowd energy was insane, but pressure is a privilege, and I'm grateful for it. In the third round, she faced Elena Rybakina, the 2022 Wimbledon champion. It was a clash of power, Ace's forehand's intensity, but Coco's defense was iron, her counter punching flawless. When she sealed the win 6-4, 4-6, 6-3, she pumped her fist and screamed, not in arrogance, but in release. That was personal. She laughed in her post-match interview. Semifinal storms. The semifinal brought her face-to-face with IG Swiatek, her longtime rival and friend, a matchup that had defined women's tennis for years. The match was electric. Swiatek's topspin heavy. Forehand met Coco's blazing speed. Rally stretched to 20, sometimes 30 shots. Coco lost the first set 3-6, but in the second, she switched tactics, slicing deep, pulling IG wide, and attacking the net 6-4. The deciding set was a war. At 5-5, Coco faced triple break point. She took a deep breath, looked at her coach, and mouthed, "I got this." 3 points. Later, 3 fearless forehands later, she held serve. She broke in the final game, falling to her knees in disbelief. Coco Gauff was into the Wuha Open final. In her post-match presser, she said softly, "It's not about revenge. It's about proving to myself that I can win here." The final battle, Gauff versus Sabalenka, October 12, 2025. The stadium was full, the air electric too. Warriors stood ready. Coco Gauff versus Aina Sabalenka. Their rivalry had history. Sabalenka, the world number 1, had beaten Coco in 2 previous finals. Her power, raw and thunderous, had often overwhelmed Gauff finesse. But Coco had changed. This time she wasn't here to survive. She was here to conquer. The first set was brutal. Sabalenka's serves were missiles. Coco chased every ball, but fell 4-6. Between sets, she sat quietly, head bowed, breathing deeply. Her coach leaned in, whispering, "You know how to fight. Go take it." Reflection. Later that night, long after the cameras had gone, Coco sat alone on the court. The stadium was empty. The trophy gleamed beside her. She whispered softly, "I'm not afraid of losing anymore. I'm afraid of forgetting why I play." She thought her family, her parents who sacrificed everything, her coach who believed, her younger self, crying after that 2022 loss, and she smiled. "We made it." The message to the world. Days later, Coco posted on Instagram, "Wuhan broke me once, but it also built me. Every loss was a lesson. Every heartbreak, a seed of strength. Don't fear the falls. They're the reason you'll learn to fly." The caption went viral, shared by athletes, artists, and fans around the world. It wasn't just about tennis anymore. It was about resilience, the kind that lives in all of us, from heartbreak to glory. Coco Gauff's 2025 Wuhan Open victory became more than a trophy. It became a metaphor for rebirth, for courage, for perseverance. When she returned home, Banner hung across her training center. In Delray Beach, champions aren't born. When they win, they're born when they rise again. She smiled, took a deep breath, and stepped back onto the court, ready for the next battle. Because for Coco Gauff, glory wasn't the destination. It was a journey through heartbreak, healing, and hope, and that more than any title is what made her a true champion. Thank you for watching. Please, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share.